Good afternoon and welcome to Kunsang Pile Trolling and a teaching by Jetsunma Ahkon Lhamo. We're so happy to have you join us here and to be able to share this teaching. It was given in 2007. The title is Love and the Long View, and she taught it describing the Pile lineage and, how lamas can think in a much longer view than the rest of us. So settle back and hope you enjoy it.
So today is going to be only a short teaching, and I'm not even sure if we can call this a teaching. This is a report, more or less, from having come back from New York. And I'm proud and pleased that so many of you now go to New York and receive teachings from His Holiness. We are all sons and daughters of the great Padma Norbu Rinpoche, peerless Lama. There is none other like him. And having that opportunity should not be wasted. For those of us that have the ability or the mind to go there for retreat, absolutely, you should do so. I would not want to wait until there was no opportunity and say, oh, I missed it. Because that will be a sorrow that will be hard to recover from, believe me. And so, having seen His Holiness when I first went to New York, I was, of course, dismayed that he was so ill. I had never seen him like that before. And for those of you that speak dog, when your alpha's down, it's terrifying. Does that make sense to any of you? Yeah, good. But while I was there, I watched his strength grow a bit. And by the time I left, he seemed to be doing a little better. And I think a combination of having less pressure on him once the retreat actually subsided, less expectation. His Holiness is very demanding of himself. Those of you that knew him when he was young, he was a tank. He's still a tank. And just like, a tank moves very slow, but nothing stops it. Not bricks, not walls, not oceans, not nothing. And that's kind of the way His Holiness has been. And even for himself, he has been dismayed. Because normally he could command his body. His body would say, he would just say it has to be done, and his body would respond. And I think now, for the first time, this has happened where he has made demands of his body that his body could not allow. His body could not allow for that. So he was forced to do something he's not in the habit of doing, which I'm actually very good at, which is resting. So my job was to gently imply, and I do mean gently, that maybe it was time to learn this new skill. that this is something we guys, we ascension beings, have to deal with a little bit, and it's okay. The process of taking a while to recover and then recovering is okay, as long as you get to recover at the end. And so, of course, we have that same idea, the same thing, that if things don't get better immediately, well, then we're just panicked. We just don't know what to do. Of course, His Holiness is not panicked. His Holiness is His Holiness. But still, we have that same idea that things should change, turn around immediately, and that we should be better immediately. And it isn't like that. I learned that for myself when I had surgery, colon bypass surgery. That the day after I came from the hospital, I made my way down a couple of flights of stairs and out to the backyard to feed the birds. Where I swiftly realized I couldn't get back up the stairs. So anyway, this is a lesson that even lamas have to learn. And that's the way it is, but you can recover from that completely. And I think I saw some good progress for His Holiness. My understanding is that when he was visited by that doctor after receiving a CAT scan, that they considered, given his age and condition, that his recovery is going at a remarkable pace, which is, of course, for us to see that is impossible, because the medicine that he's taking is actually more horrible and difficult to the system than the actual disease in some ways, unless it's progressed. So the recovery is very difficult, and yet and the medicine is very difficult and very taxing on his system, and makes him feel very bad, very tired, very distressed in his body. But still, having been there for a week, I was able to see progress. And the clinic did say that for looking at the CAT scan, it looked very good, that he was coming along nicely, making great progress. And so that is wonderful. That is wonderful. The best thing is, and our great hope is that he finally agreed to remain. Wow. Not only in New York until his treatment was finished, to take some retreat time, and to take, all the time that he needs to rest, to stop worrying about us and just care for himself a little bit. And he actually agreed to do that. And that was, if any of you have ever tried to get me to agree to something that I don't want to do, then try to think times 1,000,000. It's difficult. You have to do a little dancing. And then, for myself, I was happy to have the opportunity to make some offerings to him, in which I begged him to remain to the world, in the world for our sake. Told him that, and he kept telling me that the Kenshin Tulkus are so great, and they are great. They're miraculous incarnations, and they have been well trained, and they are thoroughly competent in every way, including having the greatest bodhicitta imaginable. And so he went to great lengths to tell me how great they were, and I kept going to great lengths to coming back and saying, but you are our Father. And we cannot bear to lose you. And why should we suffer if you can remain? That's where you get them. So you guys could take notes for later. So finally he did say, and I think we might have gotten it on tape, that he would stay if he had the power to do so. And he does. So I'm very happy about that. So even though I'm not giving you any kind of formal teaching now, I would like to tell you some of the things that I was reminded of spending time with, one-on-one time with my teacher and with the other throne holders, 3 Muksang Tulkus, Kuchen Tulkus. I had, there's a thing that happens between lamas, a multi-level kind of communication that isn't verbal, and you can't say to another person what you get. It's just, it's kind of different. It's an intuitive connection that I've talked to other tulkus about it. You don't get that with ordinary sentient beings. It's just an opening on different levels that's kind of hard to describe. But just being there with them, I felt that I remembered a lot about how to engage in Dharma, in leading others to Dharma practice, and in remaining firm as a throne holder. And from being with them, I remembered the lesson that I knew and forgot, and knew and forgot, and knew and forgot, and therefore depend upon them to help me remember, and that is the long-range view. To think about the welfare of the lineage as more important than one's own body. To think about this ancient lineage that really began with God, I can't think of the name. Kunzang, Sherab Khan, yeah, thank you. And to begin with Migyu Dorje, and to begin with even my lowly self, so many centuries ago, to be based on the long view of Guru Rinpoche's teachings, which came centuries before that. And to grasp that kind of long view is to us amazing, because we decide what we're going to do day by day. And we want relief in 30 minutes, like with the sitcoms. So we can't imagine having a long view. And they have a long view that, of course, goes beyond life. To watch His Holiness and Karma Kuchen Rinpoche together was to watch a love that goes on forever. It is endless. It's just, they cycle with each other and teach each other and replace each other, life after life of life after life, for the sake of the Paiyu lineage. So difficult to explain how His Holiness, Karma Kuchen Rinpoche knows he will teach His Holiness's next incarnation. And His Holiness knows that he will teach Karma Kuchen's next incarnation. And that is a love that, we think we understand love because we've seen the Pepsi-Cola commercials or whatever. We think we understand love because we were married once, or, twice or something like that, But it's not like that. This is love. This is a love and respect, a love based on respect, in which they do nothing but honor one another and attend to each other's needs, which are not egocentric and are not short-term, but they are within the long-term view. On the one hand, Karma Kuchen Rinpoche came quickly to see to His Holiness's well-being, and then left quickly to see to His Holiness's bidding. How amazing to come from Tibet to do that. Not even give oneself time to rest and recuperate, and just go on to do His Holiness's bidding. And that's the kind of love they have for each other. We are here in America, we don't have that kind of love. Husbands and wives aren't even nice to each other. They're not even kind to each other. Families try to stick together and work it out, but they're not even really respectful of one another. And love should always be based on respect. And having seen that again, that love from the long-term view, I myself feel recommitted, replenished, and nourished in ways that I couldn't have been through words. Just to remember it's like that. Of course it's like that. And here am I, Ahkon Lhamo, an incarnation of the first Ahkon Lhamo, who was there with those guys. And so it's just, duh, I could have had a V8, So in that way, I feel blessed, I feel nurtured, I feel very good about that. I had the honor of being able to do the Chime Soktik long life practice near His Holiness. The house that I was staying in is very near His Holiness's. For those of you that haven't been there yet and are going next year. So I feel very good about that, and His Holiness gave me permission to leave, to come back and teach all of you and to tell you what I've seen. But then also I'm going to go back in 2-3 weeks. I've been given permission to go back and forth and do retreat near him. And I'm going to do long life practice there with him for his sake. And that is, my heart is full, and I pray that each and every one of you will join me in some way. Doesn't mean that we should all head up to New York, because he doesn't really need a lot of activity right now. But we can do that from here. We can pray from here. We could do the Chime Soktik. Those of you that have learned it have had the blessing of his empowerment. The lessons from Kempo are on tape, and you've learned from Kempo. And you could do the short version, as I do, lazy practitioner that I am. But still, the power of it is there. And in a way, you all should realize that you have a responsibility, because with blessing comes responsibility. In a way, you're like second generation from the direct source of that blessing. Can you understand that? Because that blessing came from none other than Guru Rinpoche and Mandarava practicing in union. And so you're like grandchildren of that blessing. And so to think of yourselves as separate from that, or think, oh, I want to do this and not that. I want to do this and not that. I want to be here and not there. You know, the way Americans think is just stupid. It's just stupid. And we're not planning to be stupid forever, are we? Yeah, emaho, I hope not. Nice to get a little answer here. So, I would like to support His Holiness in that way. You can support His Holiness by practicing as well. You can support His Holiness by accumulating his long life prayer. You can do that for any of the teachers that, have crossed your mind stream and that have become part of you and helped to mature and ripen your mind stream. You have that power. In fact, I would think you should accept it as responsibility, because it's not appropriate to be given a gift, a usable gift, and never use it. It will never come again. You see, it will never come again. And so this is why I feel it is important for us to step up now. I think when the Kuchen Tukus showed up all together, for one thing, it was a wind tunnel. It's why I don't know where I am today. I mean, just to eat soup with these guys. My hand's shaking. It's like an Uber empowerment. You don't get the words, but you get the feeling. But to see them all come together like that, and my instinct told me, just go. Just don't wait, just go. And to find myself there at that time, it told me that this was something that seemed like the retreat, of course, went well. It always does. We have enough competent lamas to teach us. We have enough willing students to try and learn. They can always use more, believe me. But there is the formula for good result is there. But we always think, if His Holiness is ill, then we don't see him as much, then maybe it's not so auspicious, and maybe it's, maybe we should think, maybe things aren't looking good for Payul, but that is not the case. To see these heart sons come together and to see these original participants in the onset of Payul come together in force and make that connection again, to me it felt like we're starting all over again. And here in America, we have made our stamp and we have put our foothold. And for 10 years, His Holiness has been working this, and now we're going to continue working this, and Peyul will be strong in America. And Peyul will be strong around the world. His Holiness has done what he did at great expense to his own energy for these many years, because we weren't ready. And now, inspired deeply by his kindness and generosity, by his incredible commitment that he doesn't think for a minute for himself, I'm re-inspired to keep the commitment that I made so many centuries ago. And that, I see that my brothers, if I may be so bold, the Kuchen Tulkus made so many centuries ago. So this family continues. And the blessing of our Father, His Holiness Penor Rinpoche, continues. And he has promised to remain as long as he can remain, and I echo that promise back to you. And I offer you the opportunity to strengthen him and to honor him through your practice. Whether you've been there or not, you may be thinking, I haven't been there to New York. I haven't really participated, so I'm feeling guilty. Maybe I'm not really part of it. Well, no, that's not the case. You don't get off the hook that easy. Because of His Holiness's kindness, you are here. Without His Holiness's kindness, I would not be sitting on this throne. And so we are a family and we are connected, and you should feel that. You should be confident in that. And so to honor this great Lama, you should practice. You should not condense your practice into 1 month a year where you practice intently and we're good little Dharma girls and boys. Then the rest of the year our minds go crazy. That should not be what we do, but we should maintain the blessing. And how does one maintain the blessing? By unbroken practice. That's how it's done. By practicing every day, even whether it's short practice or long practice. But your awareness is that you are maintaining a deepening, a blessing, an empowerment that you couldn't have gotten any other way. And that's how you carry that, is through your daily ritual of practice. And how do you make it grow? You internalize it into your body, speech, and mind to such a degree that you develop new habits. If your habitual tendency is to be a mean-ass son of a gun, well, you can't be nice for 1 month during the summer and then the rest of the summer revert back to your own habitual tendencies. I mean, each and every year you should work harder and harder to fulfill the potential that you receive during an event such as that. And if you tend to be self-absorbed and selfish, and somehow in New York you magically broke through temporarily and you're thinking, oh wow, now I'm really doing it. Well, yes, in a way, but really what's probably happened is you're in the Buddha field with these great lamas, and they support your practice. They lift you up. Their habitual tendency bleeds into yours. And then the rest of the year, what happens to you if you don't pay attention, if you don't recall through maintaining the connection in your practice, and if you don't keep that blessing alive, then you wait for next year for another dose. And so the blessing that should be becoming your meat and bones, your body, speech, and mind, your own habitual tendency, the blessing becomes more like sugar water, where you go up and then you go down. You see? And the only one that can prevent that from happening, my friends, is you. The lamas have done their best. But you have this power within you that you are not recognizing yet, not awake to yet. You can make the decision and you can keep to that decision. You don't have to be such a waffly person. You can make the decision to keep some practice every day, big or small. Some mindfulness every day, big or small, and grow into it. Continue to grow day by day. The reason why we waffle so much is because, again, being Americans and raised culturally the way we are, we don't understand long term. Really, TV has killed us, We think life resolves itself in an hour at the most, or maybe a mini-series, or sometimes a movie, We don't get that life takes years to work itself out. We don't get that life is only part of a string of pearls, really, and that each one is a jewel, and each one is, empowered, and we even think that our lives exist in linear fashion, and even that is not true. We exist in past, present, and future simultaneously. So the power from the past, did you hear that? No, you didn't hear that, or you'd have been more surprised. That we live in the past, present, and future simultaneously. Hello? And how? How? How not? That's the way it is. There is no time in a linear fashion. The karma of our experience here in this particular bardo, the human bardo, is that we are experiencing things in linear time. If we take Advil, it takes 15 minutes for it to work if it's the gel cap. Okay? That's the karma of our experience. Is it real? Well, yeah, sure, the headache's real. The relief is real. Is the time real? If you experience it that way, yeah. Here it's real. But excuse me? Time is art? Well, that's an interesting phrase. Time is not. That's right. That's right. But we are endowed with the power that we have gathered in the past. You see? We are endowed with the potency of the present. And we are also recipients of the blessings of the future. And all can be called. That's how it is that people can achieve realization. I mean, you may look at a practitioner now and say, cross them off. That practitioner could never achieve realization in one lifetime. Ain't happening. But if that person draws through their meditation and through the power of their practice with pure devotion and extraordinary regard for the capacity of their teachers, really turns their mind over to Dharma. 10 years later, you look at that person and you go, whoa, I'm having hope now. This could happen. And then maybe 20 years later, you look, wow, here we go. We're looking at rebirth into the bhumis. How can that happen? Do you think that you can create the causes for enlightenment in one lifetime? Oh, way! Not possible. So indeed, it is true that we are endowed with the power that we have created in the past. And we are filled with what we have now. And we are able to reach what we have in the future. The point of power is the present. And that is the opening. That is the door of liberation. The door of liberation is in the present. How we practice every moment, how we turn our minds, how deeply we go for refuge, how diligently we give rise to the bodhicitta, how faithfully, without interruption, we follow our teachers. This is how you bring to this moment the power of the past, present, and future. And so magic is at hand, if you want to think of it that way. But it's not like abracadabra magic. It's logical and reasonable. In that you must practice. You can't wish for practice. You must actually do it. You can't wish for bodhicitta. You must actually give rise to it. You can't pray for devotion. You can't wait for an emotion called devotion. Because it will never happen. You are practicing the emotion of waiting. And so to give rise to devotion, you have that power. Just do it. buy the sneakers. And every now and then. So that's how we maintain this blessing. You never keep good dharma by just talking about it, or by just acting like it, or by just wearing the right costume, or having the right beads. That's not how we practice dharma, and you know that. You've seen those who were so committed to their robes and their beads and their acting like they had dharma, but then in the end, when their hearts dried up, there was nothing. Because they had not maintained that connection. No one can do that for you. Do you realize that? No one can do that for you. The lamas can beat you over the head with the boompa until it's flat. Your head and the boompa. And it will never happen if you do not give rise to good practice. And so it's really up to you to go deeper. No matter what you see, if you see your teacher come, you have faith. If you see your teacher go, you have faith. If you see your teacher live, you have faith. If you see your teacher pass, you have faith. In the face of everything, given that we've been here for these many centuries, given that Payul has maintained and has produced enlightened being after enlightened being, you should have faith. And so really, I don't know how I got the energy to say that. I was like barely dragging myself over there. There you go. Proof positive that we should have faith. So I also wanted to tell you a little bit about His Holiness's receiving the music that we made. We were able to, it was really wonderful. I was waiting for the right moment because when His Holiness was sick, everybody was like, oh, so sad. Nobody wanted to laugh. Tibetans, when they get together, are hysterical. They tell jokes, they laugh, they carry on. It's a riot. I've never seen them like this. They were so sad, but when His Holiness started feeling better, suddenly it got to be fun again. Everybody was laughing again. But really, the change in a week was so amazing. And I waited for the right moment because I didn't want to make it it has to be the right moment. It's an instinctive thing. So finally, everybody was together in one place and everybody seemed to be upbeat in a good mood. His Holiness was feeling well. He actually told a couple of stories. And I thought, this is it. So I sent one of the monks, I said, get Nano. What's Nano? Nothing. Go get Nano. Tell Ani, get Nano. So monk goes and gets Nano, brings it back. So in the nanos, I had put together the Revolution of Compassion and John Ward's wonderful CD of His Holiness's music. And then what we have finished of the Daylog album, which is to be coming out soon. Yes, another one. You'll have to buy it. You don't buy it, you're in trouble, because I took a list. So I gave them to His Holiness, and so they're looking at these boxes, and I thought, oh no, they don't know how to use them. And then so my hero, Muksan, comes over and starts setting it up and sticking it all together, and even I don't know how to do that part. And then, oh, thank God. Yes, thank you for empowering it. It was lit up. I was scared they were going to just open up this dead thing. It lit up, little apple and everything. So then I knew we were home and dry. And then His Holiness, Muksan Rinpoche was showing him how to flip through and make it higher and lower and do all the different things. And so he settles on this song that you haven't heard yet called Father, and it's about him. And it's a song that says, Father, I never knew you. I barely knew your name. Mother, I never touched you, but I never played your games. Lover, I only kissed you, but I never felt so strange. And then it goes on to talk about the love of my life, His Holiness, who claimed me, named me, saved me, and gave me a family. And it's him I'll follow throughout time. And that was what he opened up to. And I was so happy, so happy. That was a good omen to me. Made me feel very good. So so we have pictures, actually, of little digital camera pictures of, he's got the things, and he's going, oh, good. Very good. Deyabado. Oh, good. So he's doing like this. And I made this stupid speech. I thought you all would enjoy hearing it. I said, I thought, well, here's my big opportunity to be an ass, so I will. I said, everybody knows in America, Payul monks, Payul lamas, particularly His Holiness, are the coolest in the world. But in order to be a totally cool, totally beyond cool, and I was going through all this blah, 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 Lama, you have to have an iPod with your own Buddhist music. And so I presented the iPod saying, this is the beginning of an entire library of Buddhist music for Americans to listen to that will bring them to Dharma and that will help them to hear mantra. Oh my goodness, they were so happy. They were really happy. They really loved it. And actually, during one of the talks that I had with His Holiness, he said, you must continue this. He said, this is important work. He said, I feel that every time someone hears mantra, even if it's only once, even if it's just a little bit, they have some connection for the future. And all of us have the inherent Buddha nature, but there are many sentient beings, large and small, human and non-human, that don't have the proper connections yet. And so even if you broadcast the music and it's heard by worms and bugs or whatever, birds and bees, they're hearing mantra. They don't know it, but the connection is made. Some connection is made. So he said this is really important work in a time where there are less and less real practitioners. This is good work. This is what he said. He said, please continue. So I must continue. I will continue. And we will continue. And so I'm very happy about that. I had the opportunity to ask Khenchen-la, Kepotsewan Gyatso, is that right, Gyatso? Yeah. You get the Kepotsewan? Yeah, you're right. Oh, I have trouble with the names. I know them, but it's just, and they change every life,
We only see this much of it.
I know. So I asked Kenshin, I said, did you have the opportunity to hear any of the music? And he said, oh, yes, I really love it. He said, I really love, he did this with his hands. He went like, Om Mani Padme Hum Shri, come and dance with me. He said, that's my favorite. So now we know Kenshin's favorite. I don't know what anybody else's favorite is yet. But they understand that our effort here is about bringing a library of music. It happens in every culture. When Buddhism moves from culture to culture, it begins to pick up some of the attributes of that culture. Unfortunately, for Americans, some of our attributes are not the best. And, we tried not to mix our poisons with our practice. And fortunately, Dharma is so strong that it remains pure and remains without flaw. But I don't know. But as it goes, it mixes. Like the sound of Buddhism changed when it went to Tibet. Then the long horns and the things that we don't recognize as music, those things developed, and they were part of the culture. And as Buddhism moves to different cultures, there are different sounds, different instruments. One might have cymbals, another might have gongs. It's a very different kind of flavor. And so it's our responsibility to make Buddhism our own. We should never say to ourselves, that's their religion, and we can only hope to gather a little bit of its blessing. We should say to ourselves, we are sons and daughters of the great Drupal Pema Norbu Rinpoche, and therefore Buddhism is ours. We own Buddhism, and so we're going to make it our own. We will sing mantra. You guys should edit out, I think the ordained people should edit out the ones that are softer, that have more mantra, and, listen to them when you work out, listen to them, whenever you want to feel close to your teacher. Take advantage. Just play over and over again. It's okay to listen to Dharma music. And this is why I am inspired to make this kind of music for you, so that we are more comfortable. Because we need to be comfortable in our faith. We need to feel so comfortable that the rest of the year we don't wear down due to the pressure of a society that doesn't recognize our faith. And music will help with that. We are getting some good reviews, and professional reviews, and I'm really happy about that. And so the future looks bright for now, particularly if each of you maintain your practice, then we have some hope. And if you all please accumulate His Holiness's long life prayer, and please practice some Chime Sokdik for his sake, then we have hope. Whatever He has taught you, practice that. Then we have hope. And when I think of this great Payul family, I think that if there is any hope in this world, which has grown so dark, so fast, it is Payul. And you guys hanging around till 2 o'clock, or after 2 actually, till I got here. I'm grateful I had the good sense to show up. I'm grateful I had the energy to talk. If you see me bumping into trees during the next week, just kind of, think of me as a sort of early Alzheimer's patient and guide me into my little house. And if any of you can relieve Ani for a little while, she needs a nap. So I'm making these big jokes because we are happy, and we see our father getting better. We see our lineage in its splendor all together. They're here. And if we seem delirious, it's because we're very tired and can't wait to go home and take a nap. So anyway, that's it. I'm being silly, but I wanted to get together with you guys and let you know how it was, and let you know what I saw, and let you know that we have good reason to hope, good reason to be lifted up in our spirits, and we have the power to keep things strong, and we should use that power. And I think the real reason why I showed up was because, look, you're all together. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. How beautiful. I love each and every one of you. You are the pride and joy of my life. You are Payul monks and nuns. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. Please remain. Please live long. Please practice Dharma for the sake of sentient beings. Don't lose the thread. Don't lose your way. The great thing about Dharma is that we have purification practice. We can purify our non-virtue, and we can find ourselves again in our practice. So please take refuge to the depth of your being. And remain firm. Do not lose your robes. This is the most precious thing there is. And thank you for keeping them this long. So, all of you guys, robes or not robed, I want you also to know that I value the Genyen robes, the renunciate robes, and the which I myself wear, and that I, from the depth of my heart, am grateful for all the lay people, the householders that also support the Dharma. And also you have your Nakba robes, and these are very high ordinations with profound meaning that is difficult to understand from ordinary view, but from profound view, very wonderful. And so I'm asking each of you to uphold the lineage, to remain firm, and to gather merit as you can, because this is the point of life. There is no other. And if you have families, there's only one reason to have a family that I can think of, due to all the aggravation. And that reason is to support each other in practice, in giving rise to compassion, in living a sacred life. This is what families are for. They are like a little unit, like a little monastery, almost like a little monastery. They keep vows to each other. They should treat each other with kindness and dignity and respect, and they should uphold each other and support each other as they move closer to enlightenment. That is the reason for family. Besides that, there's nothing else. We could just have puppies and then wean them. I mean, you know, baby puppies. Anyway.
So thank you so much for being here today. And just to tell you a little bit about KPC, if you've never been here, we are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. And that is the prayer room inside. It looks like it's in the back by the animals. Is where the entrance is. And the outdoors, the prayer, what do I want to call it? The Peace Park, and there's walking trails and 65 acres of stupas and statues and gardens and places to walk and enjoy. And that's all open. The outdoors is all open, basically from dawn to dusk, so that everyone is safe. It is a great place to come. We hope you do. And so you can see these teachings by Jetsunma. They are all from the past. They are pre-recorded, and so Sundays at 1 p.m. we show them, and then 2 Wednesdays, well, 1 or 2 Wednesdays a week, the the 2nd and the 5th Wednesday at 7:30, we will show one of these teachings. In between that, we have teachings by Khenpo Tenzin Karzai, and he teaches the 1st, 3rd, and 4th Wednesdays at 7:30, and those teachings are on YouTube. No, I'm sorry, ours are on YouTube. The Jetsunma teachings, Khenpo's teachings, are on Zoom, and in order to get the codes, you need to register. So to go to register, you can go to this link on tara.org, or you can just go to tara.org, T-A-R-A, and scroll down on the front page, and you'll see a link to Khenpo's teachings on the bottom. That'll take you to this page. And then from there, you can decide if you want to register and click in to do that. And then you will find a page with the codes. So copy that page. When you get to the final page with all the codes, get to it. Copy it. Where are we? We also offer you meditation, YouTube or in person, on Saturdays and Sundays at 10. And that's then followed on Sundays by drumming for rain, which is at 11:30 on Sunday, and then at 6:30 on Tuesday, and 6 o'clock p.m. These are PMs on Wednesday. So we've got 3 days now a week that we drum for rain, and that's really very cool. That drumming happens live across the street at the Guru Rinpoche statue, which is just at the top of the steps as you walk into the park across the street. So come and join. You know, if you don't have a drum, you know, you can just slap your thighs or, you know, whatever you want to do for that. But the energy of many people with like mind drumming for rain is very, very strong. And so we can see if we can help with this drought out here. I know we've had crazy amounts of rain that has come in these little bursts of crazy energy, but boy, it hasn't been enough to water the plants and that sort of thing. So we're asking for help, and join in the drumming. Daily we have here a food offering ceremony, and that is called a soak, and that's at different times each day. On the weekends, it's midday, and then mostly during the week it's either at 4 or it's in the 4 o'clock range, or this 5:30 range, or 7:30 range. So you can check the calendar, which if you go to tara.org and scroll to the bottom, if you're on a phone, you'll see something that says webcast and calendar. Click on that page, and the calendar will have a calendar that gives you whatever the current time of that day is, whatever the practice is, a link to get to it, and all of that. So join us. And we're glad you were here today. We hope you come often. We hope you come and enjoy what's here to be offered. If you have interest in feeding the homeless, or clothing those who need it, we have KPC Buddhist Relief, which has expanded dramatically over the last year or so. And we now have 2 huge vans that go out almost every day to deliver to various places that need food or clothes or whatever. And we've made arrangements with each of those. We are partnered with them so that we're not, at ad hoc delivering something that isn't needed. We're giving them what they've asked for and what they've been asked for. So, so we're part of a stream of compassionate activity that goes out to it started out being just Montgomery County. It's now involves DC and other places. And, so we're out there doing our best, and you're welcome to come join and help in any way you can, whether it's donating or whether it's coming and helping to do the deliveries, or just even packing up the various things that need to go out every day. So come enjoy. Thank you.